of performing soon. It was the original music for the movie was written by Elton John with lyrics by Tim Rice and the book by Roger Allers and Irene Mecci. Now, some of these names I may pronounce wrong because they're names I've read but never actually said out loud until I was talking through this. For the musical, they added a bunch of new music, and it was directed by Julie Taymor. And it has won a ton of awards, 6 Tony Awards, including Best Musical Direction. And that means it's the first time a woman has won that award. And that is a big deal. And it's sad that it took this long, but we got there. And so that's a good thing. All right. So there's a few differences between the animated movie and the musical. I'll talk a little bit more about that since most of you have seen the animated movie. We don't need to spend a ton of time discussing the plot. But they've added some new scenes. There's a conversation between Mufasa and Zazu about parenting, which is new. There's a whole new scene where Timon almost is drowned in a waterfall, and Simba has this whole feeling of powerlessness, and he's flashing back to when his father was in danger and he was unable to help him. And there's a big narrative addition in Nala, who is Simba's friend, who Scar, the evil uncle, tries to, let's say, marry. They're lions, but um, and refuses him and leaves. So those are some huge changes from the animated to the musical, but overall they kept the same arc of the story and the same characters and the same intent. They did write a bunch of new music. There were only 5 songs in the original movie, and they added a lot more for the musical, obviously, because they needed more music. One of the songs is Endless Night, sung by Simba, and I'm actually going to sing that one for you a little bit later. When else would I get to sing Simba's song? So I'm excited about that. All right. One of the things that makes this musical so amazing is the puppetry. And for a lot of people, when you think about puppets, you just think about the little hand puppets, or you might think about the Muppets, but you're not thinking about the giant constructs that they made for this musical, which made it so amazing. And one of the things they really tried to do was old theater crafts, which is puppetry, mixed with the new technology that we have now. New materials, new concepts, new ideas, and ways of doing it. There are hundreds of puppets. There's about 400 puppets in each show. For example, Zazu, the hornbill, is a classic hand puppet. And then Timon is based on Japanese bunraku puppetry. And there's rod puppets and shadow puppets, and there's full body puppets. And then there's these electronics that are included in with the puppetry. So while Zazu is a hand puppet, there's full electronic wings and eye movements that he can make. And Scar's puppet costume changes throughout the show as his character changes. So it's really brand new and exciting way of doing this puppetry. And Julie Taymor, the director, she was early in her career in Vermont at the Bread and Puppet Theater, and that's where she got a lot of her early training in directing. And then she lived in Japan and Indonesia, and she studied the puppetry techniques there. And so that's how she sort of pulled all of these different puppetry techniques from around the world. Another thing that she did that is really exciting in this production is she didn't hide people inside the puppets. So this is a musical entirely performed by animals. Obviously, we can't hire lions to come and sing and dance for us, so they had to figure out some way that they could turn this into a musical that people could watch. But they're all animals. So she came up this style, and it's really interesting and unique in that there's never a time when a person is covered by a puppet costume. You can always see the actor and the costume. And she's calling this a dual event. And that means that at any given time, you can either watch the puppet or you can watch the actor. And by watching both of them, your eye goes back and forth and back and forth. Both of them are doing things, and it adds to the story, and it makes it more exciting and more interesting and gives it this extra level. And it's really brilliant. You never have to decide which one you're watching. You get to just flip back and forth doing all that. All right, so I've talked to you a lot about puppets. Let's watch some. We're going to watch the most iconic moment of this show, which is, of course, the opening. And that is the Circle of Life. And this is different than the Broadway production of it. But this helped you really, I think, see the way the puppets move in and among the audience and really give you an idea of the feel of the show. So I will start that now.
On this planet, unblinking, step into the sun. There is more to see than can never be seen, more to do than can never be done. There is far too much to take in here.
Okay, so whew, big opening number. In the Broadway musical, the orchestra is not on the stage and a chorus on the stage. This was a presentational production, but I just really liked the way you could see that they positioned actors and puppets throughout the entire audience to really bring you into this whole world. Puppets are going over your head. Big giant like giraffes are leaning over the audience. The elephant is brushing you as you go by. So they really quickly in this opening immerse you into this world. And like you, most of the people seeing this show have seen the animated film. So they kind of have an idea already what's going on and they get right into the story. So let's get right into the story. I'm going to just briefly kind of go over it to remind you of what's happening so we can talk about different elements as we go through. So in that scene, King Mufasa and Queen Sarabi are presenting their brand new baby Simba to the Pride Lands. Everyone is happy. There's a big cheering party except for the brother of Mufasa, who is Scar. That's the bad guy in our story, and he no longer is in the line of succession to become king, and he is not happy about that. So, and during that opening, we meet Rafiki, who is that first character who does the ma-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. She is our main spiritual leader of this group, and we see her as sort of the mystic who's helping identify what's going on. And she's brought out really clearly in the beginning there. All right, as Simba begins to grow up, Mufasa shows Simba the Pride Lands, explains to him that he's going to be ruler of it someday, and that everything in the whole Pride Lands is in a delicate balance called the circle of life, that he does have a lot of power, but that there's a big responsibility. Like Spider-Man, the theme goes around and around and around. Okay, so Simba then takes his best friend Nala outside of the Pride Lands to the elephant graveyard where he is forbidden to go. And he's forbidden to go there because it is outside of their Pride Lands and because he's kind of young. But Simba wants to prove himself that he is going to be king and he just can't wait to be king. And I heard some of you singing about that earlier. So yes, this is where the big song is. I just can't wait to be king. What I want to play for you right now are two things. I'm going to show you a short clip from the animated movie, and then I'm going to show you a short clip from how they translated that to Broadway. So let's do that first. Back to you, Google. And I wish there was a more elegant way to do this sharing, but there really isn't. I just have to go piece by piece. Alrighty, here is the animated part of I Just Can't Wait.
Everybody look left, everybody look right. Everywhere you look, I'm standing in the spotlight.
Not yet.
Let's reach another broken city. Let's hear the engine burning on the wing. It's gonna be.
Oh, I just can't wait to be king. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
Okay, so that's the animated version. Think about if you were going to try and put that live on a Broadway stage, right? That's going to be hard to do. It's not really set in reality. It's animals. They're doing all these crazy stuff. So they use the puppets and some really colorful characters to really good effect. And here it is for the Broadway version taking place.
Everybody look left. Everybody look right. Everywhere you look, I'm standing in the spotlight.
Not yet.
Everywhere you go, the world can see. Let's hear it in the world on the wind. It's gonna be King Simba's finest day. Oh, I just can't wait.
Okay, so you can see that they had to change things a little bit, but they got the same kind of feel. It doesn't look like real giraffes and real zebras. They're playful, animated, but puppets that are on stage that are really happening. And those giraffes are called the fun giraffes to the puppeteers. They're not the real giraffes, which are in the opening, and they are 40 feet tall. And they go as far out into the audience as possible. And one of the things that they made sure of when they take this on tour is that they will not change the sets or the costumes. So if your venue can't handle that, they won't perform there. A lot of theater companies, when they go on tour, will make their sets or their costumes or the pieces smaller so that they can fit in more houses. And this one has been a hard no, which means everybody that watches it, no matter where, gets to have the same sort of experience. All right, back to our story. At the graveyard where Simba has just finished singing the song, they are confronted by 3 hyenas. And these hyenas are planning on killing the cubs and eating them, but Mufasa jumps in at the last moment and saves them. All right. Mufasa is really angry at Simba for disobeying him and for being so reckless and for not really understanding that having this responsibility of king isn't just getting to do everything you want to do, but it's also about being a leader and being brave and not having bravado. It's a big theme for them in this show. All right, at the elephant graveyard, that's where Scar, the uncle, has been hanging out, and he tells the hyenas if the hyenas join with him and attack and kill Mufasa and Simba, he, Scar, will let the hyenas live in the Pride Land and eat all of the animals there. And so the hyenas say, sure, absolutely, they're going to do that. So Scar takes Simba to a gorge, a big, deep crevice, where he sends Simba down into the middle, saying that his dad is there and to wait there. And the hyenas get a whole herd of wildebeests all stirred up and running down in the gorge where they're going to trample Simba. Then Scar tells Mufasa, the dad, that his son is down in the gorge. Of course, Mufasa runs in to rescue his own son, and in doing so, rescues Simba, but is unable to get out himself because Scar pushes him back down into the gorge and he is killed. Now, Simba is just a little cub, and when this happens, he doesn't quite know how to process it. He trusted his uncle, his father's dead, and his uncle tells him it's all his fault. And it's all his fault, and he better leave before everybody blames him and hates him forever. Simba trusts his uncle, so he takes off. He goes out into the wilderness. He ends up in a desert. He starts to die from heat exhaustion, where he's rescued by Timon the meerkat and Pumbaa the warthog, who are our comedy duo, which is something that happens in a lot of classic stories, that when there's these big tragic events, we need these happy characters that can come in and give us a little bit of humor and fun. And they sang Hakuna Matata, and I thought this would be a fun one for all of us to sing along. So what I have done is I picked one that had the animated version with it, so we can watch sort of the we can watch what's going on in the story, the animated version, while we sing along. So go ahead and unmute yourself and let's sing along with Hakuna
I like it.
Matata.
Hakuna
Matata.
What a
What a
wonderful
wonderful
phrase.
phrase.
Hakuna Matata.
No
No
passing
passing
praise.
praise.
It means no
No
worries
worries
for the
for
rest
the
of
rest
your
of your
day.
day.
It's our
Philosophy.
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 Matata?
Yeah, that's our
Yeah, it's
motto.
our motto.
What's the matter with
What's the
you?
matter with you?
What's the
Phrase two words will
Will
solve
solve all your
That's
problems.
right. Take Pumbaa, for example. Why?
When
He was a young warthog.
it was
I was a young warthog.
Very nice.
Thanks.
He found his aroma like a certain bee. He could clear the savannah and every man in the sense of soul.
And it hurt my brain never sound away. No, that's are changing my name. Got downhearted. Oh, sorry.
Please don't worries, but everything is in my
Wonderful. All right, I'm going to stop it there. Wow, that was fantastic.
Home is where your rump rests.
All right. So go ahead and mute yourselves again. Outstanding. I love that some of you even knew like all the dialogue in between. You're like, I got this. I'm doing it. Nice job.
Seen this many times, I guess.
I'm guessing so. All right. So now we're into Act 2 of the musical. And Scar has taken over the Pride Lands because Simba is gone and Mufasa is gone. And he lets all the hyenas in, but the hyenas disturb that circle of life. They disturb what's been going on there, keeping everything nice and even. And so now there's a huge drought and they're out of food and everyone is starving. So Nala, who was Simba's best friend, Nala goes to Scar and says, you have to do something. If you're the leader, you have to solve that. And he goes, okay, well, what we'll do is you're going to stay and be my mate. And she says, no. And so she decides she has to leave the Pride Land herself and go look for help. So that's what she does. Now, back in the jungle with Timon and Pumbaa, Simba starts to get restless. He is a lion, but he's living this life of goofing off and doing nothing. And he starts to feel it inside, that he's feeling a little restless. He's not feeling himself. He's not sure what to do. So he starts to take more and more risks. And one of them is he jumps across this waterfall, and then he tries to challenge Timon to do it too. So Timon goes to jump across the waterfall. He slips, he falls, and he is falling in, and he's begging Simba to help him. And Simba all of a sudden freezes. He remembers back when he was a tiny cub and he wasn't able to help his father, and he becomes paralyzed. He's unable to help. Timon starts to be washed away down this waterfall. And that's when Simba snaps out of it, realizes what's going on, helps Timon out of the water. Simba's really embarrassed and ashamed that he didn't do something when he could, and that he got Timon to do this thing that was dangerous. And he starts thinking about his dad and thinking about how his father talked about being brave and not having bravado and not being reckless and being a leader. And he thinks more and more about his dad. And this is when he sings one of the new songs in the show, which is called Endless Night. And I'm going to sing part of that for you now. Let me get the music.
Hi, Kristen.
Started. Hi. So let me get over to my music. Where are you? Sorry, it's going to take me just a second because there is no tidy way to do this. All right, so I'm going to sing a little bit of Endless Night for you. Like I said, it's one of Simba's songs, which is not normally one I would get to sing, not being a man or a tenor. Here we go. Where has the starlight gone? Dark is the day. How can I find my way home? Home is an empty dream, lost to the night. Father, I feel so alone. You promised you'd be there whenever I needed you. Whenever I call your name, you're not anywhere. I'm trying to hold on just waiting to hear your voice. One word, just a word will do to end this nightmare. When will the dawning break? Oh, endless night, sleepless I dream of the day when you were by my side, guiding my path. Father, I can't find the way. You promised you'd be there whenever I needed you. Whenever I call your name, you're not anywhere. I'm trying to hold on, just waiting to hear your voice. One word, just a word will do to end this nightmare. And I'm going to stop it there. Song gets happier as we go on from there. Thank you. I see your happy cheering there. Thank you. Okay, so that's a big change in the musical where Simba really gets to have this emotional journey where he suddenly realizes he's not living the life that he should be living, and he's really disappointed in that he doesn't get to have the support of his father that he expected to have. And I think this is a moment that we have all had as human beings where the world is not the way you thought it was going to be. And you have to have this moment where you're like, what am I going to do? How am I going to move forward when things aren't the way I thought they were, or they were promised that they would be for me? And it's a very powerful song for a lot of people, and has become a anthem for a lot of people who are struggling. And it's beautiful. So I would encourage you to listen to the full song. It gets happier towards the end. All right, back to our story. Pumbaa is being hunted by a lioness who almost gets him, and Simba rushes in at the last moment, rescues his friend, and realizes the lioness is Nala, his old friend, who has left the Pride Lands and is out looking for help. She realizes that Simba is not dead like they all thought, and that he is the rightful king, and she tells him he should come back and challenge Scar, but Simba's not ready to do that. He's still too ashamed of how he behaved in running away, and he still thinks he was responsible for killing his father, and he doesn't want to face that responsibility. Simba has a long night of introspection, trying to figure out what he's going to do. He ends up talking to Rafiki, and Rafiki explains to him that his father is living on through him, that his father is there for him. His father's spirit appears in the sky and tells Simba he needs to go back and face this and become the next ruler. So Simba does. He goes back. He finds his courage. He heads home. He challenges Scar when he finds the Pride Lands in ruins. Well, Scar knows that Simba has this weakness, and he forces a confession from Simba that he's killed his own father in front of everyone. And then everyone leaves in disgust. And Simba is feeling really diminished when Scar starts to gloat the way bad guys often do, and feels that he is the one in charge. And he's like, ha ha ha, I really killed your father, ha ha ha. Well, this is what it took for Simba to finally gather up the courage that he needs to attack back and to fight back. He does. They have a huge battle on top of Pride Rock, which is a nice place to have it. And Scar starts to realize that he's losing to this strong young lion who's extra angry, confesses in front of the lionesses to having been the one who actually killed Mufasa, but blames the hyenas for the whole thing. Once he confesses, Simba releases him in mercy, and as he turns his back, Scar attempts to attack again. And in doing so, he seals his own fate, falls off the cliff, off of Pride Rock, where the hyenas who heard him give them up attack him and tear him to pieces. Rip, 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 rip. The end of Scar. Okay, so the Pride Lands recover under Simba's rule, and the end is Simba and Nala presenting their new lion cub to the Pride Lands, ensuring that the circle of life continues. And that is the plot of The Lion King. All right, so one of the things that is really interesting about the show is it really draws heavily on the Shakespeare play Hamlet. Some of you may be familiar with it, some of you may not. Hamlet is a very similar story where there is a young king, a young prince whose father, the king, is murdered by the uncle who wants to take over the throne. And the uncle convinces the prince that somehow the prince is to blame. And Hamlet goes off and he has his big to be or not to be speech. And that's sort of what the song is, The Endless Night, where both of these young princes are grappling with what's my responsibility? How much is my responsibility? How do I take control of what I've done? How do I acknowledge it? How do I move forward and lead? And both of them do it in the same way, where they go back. And in Hamlet as well, the uncle is killed through his own actions, not through that of Hamlet's. In Hamlet, it is a little bloodier than it is in this show, despite one of the characters being ripped apart by hyenas. Okay, one of the things I really want to talk about is the character Rafiki. Now, in the movie, the animated movie, Rafiki is a baboon, a male baboon who doesn't speak much, a lot of symbols and grunting. But when Julie Taymor took over direction of the show, she realized there were no strong adult female characters. And in one of her interviews, she was talking about how in the classic fairy tale trope, you can't have two parents, because if you have two parents and you lose one, you can be supported by the other one. But if you have no parents, that's how these young characters go off and have to have their adventure. So she couldn't develop the character of his mother, because in doing so, she would ruin any reason he would have to run away and not talk to an adult, not have somebody he trusted. So she needed to find another place to put a strong female character. And so she looked to Africa for inspiration, specifically to South Africa. And she recruited this South African musician whose name is Lebo M to supply new music and arrangements, and modeled Rafiki, I'm going to look at the word, as a Sangoma. And this is a type of female faith healer in South Africa. And according to their beliefs, she can see the past and the future and channel ancestral spirits. And so that is what this character became, modeled on an actual faith in South Africa and put into this story to be our strong female character. So what I'm going to play for you now is a small clip from one of the women who played this character and her journey, how it had been for her to play in this character. You're going to see some actual her putting on her makeup, which I always think is fun, as well as hear a little bit about her character preparation. So I'll play that for you now.
My name is Tsidi Manye, and I play Rafiki in The Lion King. Rafiki is a shaman. Where I come from, she's called the Sangoma. And Rafiki foresees the nature, the future, the past. She's able to foretell, what it's like a medium. So that's what Rafiki does. When I got the call that I was supposed to, I was going to do Rafiki, I felt like I was lifted, like I was so excited in such a way that I couldn't believe it. It's something that I know about. I've lived the life before, and I've had cousins and aunties in my country that are doing this, kind of job where they can be able to, talk to the past, the ancestors, and communicate with them. So I was like, after I got the role, I was like, oh my God. In Africa as a whole, we have like different kind of ceremonies. We have like a day where there's this ceremony of showing off what what you can do with your face, and whoever painted their face nice, then they get to win. I don't get to put it myself. I have a makeup artist that puts it on my face because I will mess it up. Because it makes me, I don't know, it makes me feel truthful to my culture. Sometimes I will play like songs from home. They motivate me. They make me sometimes get into character. And the other thing is that I'm speaking a language that nobody knows. And me clicking and saying all those things, people are like, what was that? How did she do that? So all of those things, I think they pump you out. Sometimes when they call 5 minutes, I have that little moment. You want to make sure that when you go there, you speak the truth. For those who have not seen the show, that little 5 minutes, I think, is just to calm yourself and say, listen, I guess now it's time for me to go and do my job and go and say, okay, this is what you came here for. So I'm going to give you your money's worth.
All right, so I have found that really interesting for a lot of reasons. One is it's always fun to get to be backstage and see what actually goes into putting on one of those costumes, getting ready. I don't know if you saw, she had on a regular wig cap, then she had all her makeup, and then she put on a secondary wig cap that had a microphone on it, and then they powdered her whole face. And then she had to put on her regular underclothes and then her over costume and then her headdress and then those giant like monkey feet that she had. And she has to wear all of that and act and sing as though she was just wearing regular pajamas, something comfortable that she would just wear every day. So as a performer, that is something really impressive to see. So as she was talking about, and she clearly had a South African accent. And one of the things that I found really interesting about this show is that the rule for performing this show is that you must have 6 South Africans in the cast for it to be an official production. There must be 6 South Africans. There are usually 8 to 12 South Africans in the cast. And that is for a lot of reasons. They really wanted to root this in South African culture and to treat it seriously as a piece of work from a culture, not something that is appropriated for entertainment other places, but to really represent. And Lebo M, who's the South African composer who did a lot of this music, he made sure that it stayed really true to South African roots in his correct use of language. There are words in Congolese, Sotho, Swahili, Swana, Zoho, and Zulu, and all of them are used throughout the show. The words are used correctly. I was looking up translations so that I could tell you they're not like spectacular lyrics. There's a lot of like, look, there's a lion. Oh, there's a lion.
Excuse me, I have a question for you.
Okay. I don't know who that is, but
it's Sean Callahan.
Okay, what's your question?
How come Scar said the stampede was Simba's fault? It wasn't Simba's fault because Simba didn't plan the stampede.
It's true. But he wanted Simba to think it was his fault so that Simba would run away and that Scar could take over and be the ruler.
What's the name of the song that you were singing?
Endless Night. Endless Night, the song I was singing. Let me just say 2 more things and then I will go to your questions because I always love hearing the things you have to say. So basically they wanted to make sure that the soul of the show always stayed really true to South African roots. And one of the things I found in doing some research about this show is that this has become a huge thing in South Africa, where it's sort of like being drafted for the NFL, because Disney goes there every year and recruits a new batch of performers to come and perform all over the world. And this show is being performed all over the world all the time, had been performed all over the world. So performers anyone who had any bit of talent would desperately want to get into the show, and they would spend a year preparing just for this audition, just to be able to get into the show. And as soon as you get in, you start making enough to support your whole family and you become like a rock star. And so this show drastically changed the artistic world of South Africa just by making that rule. Okay. That is all that I had to get through saying. Let's get to your questions. I love hearing what you have to say. Karen, you want to do the honors and call on them, or do you want me to do it today? Karen is still muted.
Yes. Who
There.
has a question? Let me see. How about Brian Given?
I
Like
had
it,
two
Brown.
questions anyway.
Ready.
Is there a way someone could tell us what next week's Broadway special production is?
Okay, can you just wait and let's talk
Yep,
about tonight?
And my favorite song from The Lion King is "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" between Zimba and Nala.
That's great.
That is a fun one. So when
And
that song,
I saw the new movie on Disney Plus,
nice. I have not watched that one yet, but
and I
I
saw the
thought I
real
might.
version.
Yeah. So what we're doing next week is, I will tell you, The Drowsy Chaperone, and John Brown will be back with us. We try and pick shows that we have either done or have some sort of connection to. John Brown was the main character in The Drowsy Chaperone, which is why he chose it for this for next week. This show I have never been in, but I have directed. I have directed a children's version of it, which was really, really fun. Okay, questions. More. Who's got one?
Jillian, do you have a question?
Actually, I was just letting you know, I went to Disney World, and you don't know this, but me, my mom, and my sister, and my brother, we all went, and we went to see the Lion King. We went on the Animal Kingdom. I went to see the Lion King like that too. And guess who was in it?
Who?
Me.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And I told Simba that, hi Simba, and I was starting the show, and I just let you know that. And also, my favorite song from The Lion King is actually Hakuna Matata, and also can't stop the love one, because it feels like it make a reason why I picked that song, because it remind me of not worrying, not worried the rest of my days.
Yeah.
And for the love song part, can't stop the love part is make me want to be loved by loved by anyone. My best friend, my family, you, and of course the guy, of course. And I just want to tell you that my experience of the Lion King is that I went to see the Lion King play before with my mom as well. So
That's
I
great.
just want to tell you that because and I just want to tell you that before the end of the night. And one more thing that I'd like everybody to go on, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Jillian, you have to know that everybody loves you. You don't even have to question that. You are that kind of a person. So
Well,
there you
it's 5
go.
o'clock somewhere.
It is
It's
5 o'clock
5
somewhere.
I think it is 5 o'clock
It's
in
5
San
o'clock where you
Francisco.
are. It is almost 5 o'clock in San Francisco.
But
Okay.
it doesn't really matter. I just want to say it.
Yeah,
Thank
that's you.
you.
Let's go to Allison. Do you have a question, Allison? Can you unmute? You and Kim? Great.
Hi, Karen. Hi,
Hi,
Kristen. I'm Allison.
Hi, Allison.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I did a long time ago. When I went to Orlando, I went to see the Lion King on the stage,
Nice.
and it was really good. So my mother got me the Broadway version of the Lion King on CD.
Beautiful.
So I have the CD version of the Broadway version of the Lion King. When I was kind of sick, like sick, like when I had my tonsils out. But as a Lion King, my mother put on the Lion King and fed me Jello.
Oh, nice.
That's great. That
I
is
love having
great.
those memories.
Did you like it too, Kim?
Yeah.
Look at how long your hair is. Wow, both of you. I haven't seen you in so long.
I haven't gotten a haircut yet.
I know.
From Mary to
All right,
Christy,
let's
Kim.
go to the next person. Let's see. We have lots of people who have stuff to say. Patty.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Patty.
Hi. I saw the Broadway show in New York.
I have not. I have never seen it.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's different than the movie.
Yes.
My favorite song is "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?"
That's a good one.
And my favorite one of the animals are in there is Zimba, because he reminds me of when I was little. I used to do a lot of stuff like that.
Getting in trouble, Patty?
Yep. Yep.
All right, let's go to your roommate, Nicole. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Hey, Kristen. Hey, Mark. I've seen the play. I've watched the movie, but I've seen the play a couple of times. In Boston at the Opera House. I think it was the Opera House that I've seen it, and I sang along, and the costumes. I love the costumes. It's amazing how fast they do things. Like, I was very in awe of like how like they did like the scene changing, and I'm like, wow, I just got done with one scene and now I'm like totally into another scene. I'm just like, how do they do that so fast?
It takes a lot of practice. Scene changing is something you have to practice just as much as your choreography and your lines, because it's as important. Because even if you're like going and everything's great, if suddenly the big piece of set falls over, it ruins your story. So you have to really practice that through.
The other thing that I really liked was when they passed through they actually came into the audience, passed through the audience, and like up and down the I forget what you call it, where you're sitting, the aisle.
Yeah, that was brand new. Oh, they had tried it in Cats in the 80s and it was not successful, but but they were trying it again and it worked.
We need to
Thank
do
you,
that.
Nicole. It's the magic of the theater, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
Let's go to Chris. Chris, you have your hand up. Can you unmute, hon?
Hey, Chris.
I was in the Spotlighters, but I played the genie. But they did Hakuna Matata. I just sang the chorus part.
Nice.
Yeah, Hakuna. I was going like Hakuna. People went
Matata.
Hakuna.
Matata.
We can get Lions to do it.
Hey, Karen.
Hold on, Sean. We'll get to you.
And besides,
thanks, Chris.
Besides, who sang that song, "The Lion Sleeps Tonight"? That song was on that. Who sings that song originally?
I don't know.
Oh, I should know that.
Lion sleeps tonight.
Yeah, I don't know originally where that came from.
I'll look it up for you, Chris.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
was on
Thanks,
that.
Karen.
That was on that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Elizabeth Brash. She has her hand up. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth.
I'll mute myself. There you go. Sorry about that. My favorite scene, right near the area right before the battle, with the meerkat Timon and the warthog did the Hawaiian dance thing.
That's your favorite?
Yeah.
Cool.
Someone to find his uncle for the battle.
Mm-hmm.
That was so cool.
You did.
Can Feel the Love Tonight. That's one of my favorite songs.
Well,
and I've seen the animated movie 100 times, and I saw the new version 2 years ago.
Wow.
In Bahama, Maine.
Oh, nice. I have not seen that yet, but I will. Definitely will.
Thanks, Elizabeth. All right. Philip.
Yes. I have a question about a costume like an inmate to the play. What's your different? Like it's not look like a real costumes. The inmate. What's it look like? What's your different?
What's the difference between which costumes? I'm sorry.
The inmate.
Like the animated
It's
versus
not look like.
Right. So
animated.
there's no way to make an animated character look exactly the same in real life. I mean, if you've been to Disney World, you can see that the characters don't look actually like that. So it's sort of a representation. So they did the best they could to really represent the idea and the spirit of these puppets. And like I mentioned in the beginning, they wanted to make sure you saw the actor and the puppet at the same time. So you could watch both of them and not look like a mascot, like at a football game. And so that's why they made these costumes out of very light materials, and a lot of them are sheer. So you can even see the actor inside of them if you want to.
Right, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Thanks, Philip. Let's go to Adam Lewis.
Hey,
Adam.
I have one quick question. Is this
Mhm.
for Ms. Kirsten?
Is it what?
It's for you, Kristen.
I have one quick thought that I just saw about the other Disney film of the it's still like the same thing as the orange and the original movie, which is the movie. It was called the Lion King movie, but I saw having a bunch of I know some of the other I know type of the I know some of the different landscapes from the film, and from my second time, my question is that do you know this other type of the other musical that one of the I know some of my favorites, which is my favorite celebrities. It was Miss Ariana Grande, but she's still in the Broadway musical.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah. That's yeah, some stuff I didn't know and some stuff I did. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, sure thing.
I wanted to do one more question because I do have the karaoke version of Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
that is so great. Hold on, Adam. Adam, we have to go to somebody else now.
Yeah, so let's just do one more and then let's
one
end.
more. Who is like
gotta
jumping
go.
out of their seat here? Sean, I'm going to go to you because I said I would come back to you.
Oh, yes, Karen.
What's your question?
Oh, is Lion King your favorite movie? Karen or Kristen?
It is not my favorite movie. It is a really good one, and I love a lot of the imagery. But I tend to lean more towards Lady and the Tramp if I'm going to pick my favorite Disney movie.
And I agree. It's not my favorite, but I do love seeing and I love the music.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Sean.
All right,
No
so
problem.
let us close up with Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Can you please go back?
So you may go ahead and unmute. And this one has some pictures from the show.
Actually, I don't sing.
Like my background.
Guys, please.
What?
And they don't have a clue
Oh.
Fall in love, and here's the bottom line. Our trio's down the tube.
Down the
Two.
tube.
It's
Oh.
a sweet
Face of
chemistry.
the twilight.
There's magic everywhere. And with all this
This
romantic atmosphere, disasters in the
Ever shows.
The peace
The peace
reigning. The
the
world
world
in harmony. If so many things to tell her.
How to make her
See,
see.
true about
Turn away from me.
is
All
living
night
back.
keep fighting for what I can't decide. What won't he be? I know it. The king of
The peace of everyone.
And if
And
you fall in love
tonight,
it can be soon. His
every
every day
Our history
in
is
short
our
while is
Fantastic. Well done.
job. I was getting for it.
All right. Loves, we are out of time. Thank you so much. If you have sent a private message, I am sorry. I usually can't read them while I am talking to you.
Bye.
So thank you. I'm sorry, but I
Ken,
love all of you, and I will see you
That
next
was
week.
great.
Ken,
Kristen.
we'll see you tomorrow for cheering.
Thank you guys. We'll see you
Hey.
tomorrow.
Thank you,
Tomorrow.
Kristen.
Bye, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, Christine.
Get
Bye,
up,
Mark.
boot
Bye,
camp.
Karen. Bye,
Yep, I will
Karen.
be there.
Very much.
Get up
There
for
will
boot
be
camp,
squares.
everybody. We need it.
Tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Definitely do
For
that
the boot camp.
whole afternoon at 2.
Chris, the name of the group is called the Tokens.
Oh,
Well
the
done.
line
Tokens.
tonight by
Yep,
the tokens.
I looked
See you
it
for the
up.
boot camp.
I always
Yes,
forget
we
the
will
mom
see
about
you at
singing
boot
that song.
camp.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Enjoyed my Love and Spoonful shirt, Miss Kristen.
I saw it. I love it. It's great.
They were
Really
around
good.
parents' time. They were around your time too.
He's younger than us, Chris. Much younger.
They were around
These
your
are,
time. Karen.
well, come here. You can come be in my. The class is just ending.
Hi.
This is Walter. This one's mine, and this is Piper. This is sort of half mine these days.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Did you
Hi,
guys like The
guys.
Lion King?
Maybe we'll watch that tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch.
Tuesday is kids' night. Every other night we switch who has them all. Oh, this is my other one. This is Nico.
Oh, how many do you have? There we go.
Yeah.
3.
Three.
They just keep coming.
I know they do. It feels that way a lot.
That's awesome.
Tim, did you like the Lion King?
Tim, did you like it?
I
You
think he
wanna play
loved
some
it.
guitar?
Ooh, yeah.
He's
Why
gonna
don't you
give us
play
a little
Kristen a little
guitar.
guitar? Because then she's got to go. Can you unmute Tim? Oh, there you are. All right, Tim, let's hear it.
Give us a little guitar.
With his Boston Bruin shirt. Here goes.
Yeah.
Nice job, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah. Have a great night, Tim. Go Bruins.
Bye.
All right. Thank you all.
That was awesome.
Oh, good.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much for the Rafiki behind the scenes blew
Right?
me
Oh, that
away.
was great.
Oh my gosh. So here's what I didn't tell you that I found out that I didn't know. So Rafiki, this character, is based on these shaman, right? And they take these women directly from South Africa to play this character. And these women have this as part of their religious tradition. And it's so meaningful and